budget problem, so I was not able to do that. Do you have to know? Okay. But I think it might be budget reasons, but also I think it's sort of giving respect to the people who actually went through, trying not to recreate, which we will never ever understand. So what I think in that way, actually the film captures well. What we can see is photos and those drawings, especially powerful.
Yes.
I also think it's less about the actual bomb blowing up and it's more about the aftermath of what happened. So if I weren't trying to focus as much on trying to sort of show the core and that stuff and more about how people dealt with it.
Right, I think that's a good point too, partly because so the first part is 13 years after, and that shows how the survivors never knew that they actually survived and the long-lasting effect of the bomb. But also, 63 years later, people are still finding out what it meant. Yeah, so I guess yes, the focus is definitely aftermath, and then that in that way we can also, to some extent, relate to the issues. How can we then commemorate this issue? Yes.
When Yunagi says the atomic bomb fell on us, but then she corrects herself, it was dropped on us.
Right.
It almost seems like that's like a metaphor for like a change in Japanese point of view relating to the bomb. What are your thoughts, or what?
Yeah, what do you mean that it's changing the Japanese?
Just it seems like maybe after the bomb, it was more about forgetting the war, but now recently it's more kind of not reassessing blame, but just remembering what really happened. You know, and not trying to cover up so much.
Right. I think that was an important part. Actually, since you asked for my take is it can be interpreted in two ways. One is it can be interpreted as, who dropped the bomb. So we have to remember, it's not a natural disaster. But the second interpretation would be, it could be interpreted as blaming the Japanese government, which did not try to put an end on war. It kept going. So and I like that ambiguity. There is room to interpret.
Yeah, it's followed up by when Minami is dying. That statement like, are you happy now that you've got one more person, right? So that I was putting it together with the bomb didn't fall, it was dropped on us, and I'm wondering if it's young Miss Kono really, it's a very active interpretation on her part, to which we don't hear from official survivor statements,
Right.
About thinking about who's responsible, but I thought that was so pointed.
Right, and it's not just blaming to draw attention to someone who dropped. It's more like, how do you think of this? It's more like challenging. What does that mean? Tell us what it means. And yeah, I like that point too. And also in the movie, which I think this part is not probably in the graphic novel, but in the movie, she said, "I was happy." So that was a kind of juxtaposition, like, are you happy? But I was happy, which is ironic, very ironic juxtaposition.
No, and she says it in that sweet way.
Right. Yeah, it's not a sarcastic. Right, exactly. Yeah, it's not a sarcastic comment. So that even more challenges us how we can interpret that. Yes.
About the point where she says it didn't fall on us, that it was dropped on us. I think that's a good way for the ordinary people who weren't part of the military to explain to themselves that this wasn't our fault. It's not like it fell on us. It was dropped on us by somebody else. And I think the movie does a really good job of showing the beauty of the people. I mean, it was a really beautiful movie. It could have portrayed a lot of horror, a lot of tremendous violence, but it did a really great job of, showing the beauty of the culture and the people, and kind of showing how they lived afterwards, as opposed to, showing all this graphic violence that we're used to seeing in movies.
Right. That's also interesting contrast, I guess. This bomb, the violence of the bomb, and also how calmly people lived afterwards. At least that's how the movie depicted the lives of the people. Any more comments, thoughts? Okay, so I guess we are waiting for this raffle or lottery. So let's move on then.
All right. So the first 10 we're going to draw are for the actual manga that is autographed by the author herself. So without further ado, please check your paper thing with a little sticker on it with the number. And will my assistant please hand me a number? Is 133 here? All right, come on down, 133. You can go to the table where those people will help you out. The next is 25. All right, 25 is here. $189. 189? No? Okay, we're moving on then. 187. All right, 187. 178. All right. 178. 151. Is 167 here? Because if you are, you just won. No. All right. 11. What about 153? All right. It's a college student. Number 1. Number 1. All right. All right. All right. Who's that? 171. No one. How many more left? Just one more? Okay. 16.
Yeah, that's Jim.
16? No one? Okay. To Jim Lee. 190.